Okay. Hello and welcome to this recording where I will explain an overview of the sweep of lessons from this point to the next few weeks in the future, maybe close to the final exam or the week before the final exam. So let's begin again with the starting point where we have this traditional definition of knowledge, and you're familiar with this by now. I'm not going to explain it in detail because you know this already. So there's this basic idea that the best definition of knowledge is that knowledge is justified through belief. And we have gone through the three important terms in this definition. Now, Gettier cases come into the scene and show us cases. We have seen the examples, we have discussed this, right? And you have seen the document where I have a collection of cases for you. In Gettier cases, we have a belief that is true. We have a knower who thinks that she is justified in believing a true statement, but also by some combination of a piece of good luck and a piece of bad luck, her justification has nothing to do with the truth of the belief, right? So I'll talk more about that particular sentence in this recording, okay? So according to Zebski, Gettier cases are inescapable because of luck, and she points out that many philosophers have been tempted to deal with Gettier cases by trying to get rid of luck, but luck is not something that we can get rid of because it is basic feature of the human condition. We humans are subject to luck, and our knowledge is subject to luck as well. And she says it's not that we have to get rid of luck. It's not that we have to raise the standard for justification so that the standard for justification is very, very close to truth, in some cases almost indistinguishable from truth, right? So we have seen that in the other responses to Gettier cases. But she says we can solve Gettier cases by identifying a variable that is necessary for justification, allowing us to get to the truth, right? So there's still that connection between justification and truth. We don't want to get rid of that. But Zagzebski does not want to do the standard approach of using defeaters, raising the standard of justification, etc. So this is the part in the previous modules that I refer to as X. So the new definition, the variable is X, right? And then Zagzebski uses this new definition of sorry, let me start again. Zagzebski uses the variable, which for her is intellectual virtue, to come up with a new definition of knowledge. So that for her, knowledge is justified through belief is being completely set aside in favor of a new definition of knowledge, and a definition of knowledge that features intellectual virtue. So you're reading. So I am here giving you an overview of the three things that you are supposed to read closely. So the first is Zagzebski's What is Knowledge. The second is Batali's Virtue Epistemology. And the last one is Kwong's Open-mindedness as Engagements. So here I have been talking about um, the point where we can get to this point, right? The part where we get a definition from Zagzebski, another definition of knowledge. So what's happening here is we began with the standard JTB definition of knowledge. We encountered Gettier cases, and then we have this interesting solution to Gettier cases coming from Zagzebski, and that solution features intellectual virtue and allows us to come up with a new definition of knowledge. So that's what's happening. And then the next reading after Zagzebski's What is Knowledge is Batali's Virtue Epistemology, where she gives an overview of the literature that would help you understand the general concept of an intellectual virtue better. Because I have been using the phrase intellectual virtue. You're probably writing that in your notes. You've probably encountered it before. But I want to draw your attention to the fact that you probably are not very clear yet about the general structure of this concept. So Batali gives you an overview of the literature, meaning she structures her paper going through a certain debate that I'm going to tell you is no longer current, which means like people have lost interest in it. They no longer argue in this way because they have come to a consensus that made the debate go away, and now they're asking new questions and arguing about different things. But it's important for you to learn about that debate so that the goal in reading the Batali reading is to understand the general concept of an intellectual virtue better. And then after that, in Kwong's reading, he discusses a particular type of intellectual virtue, open-mindedness. Ngayon, minsan, nalilito yung mga estudyante kung ano yung connection ng intellectual virtue tsaka open-mindedness. Ngayon, ganito yun, ano? Yan ay generic versus particular. So, ang binibigay ko na halimbawa minsan dito, pagka halimbawa, we have a generic term, tree or puno. Yun yung tree is to intellectual virtue. Tree is the equivalent of intellectual virtue. Siyempre, may mga uri ng puno, particular na uri ng puno, nara, acacia, mangga, etc. Yung open-mindedness ay particular example of intellectual virtue. So, ang equivalent ng intellectual virtue, generic term, puno, tapos, yung particular kind, isang uri ng puno, acacia, ang equivalent ng open-mindedness. So, ang open-mindedness ay isang particular na intellectual virtue. So, we're moving from the new definition of knowledge to the concept of intellectual virtue in general terms to focusing in, zeroing in, zooming in on one particular intellectual virtue, which is open-mindedness. So that's the direction we're getting. I don't want you to get lost in the details of all the readings and lose sight of that broad sweep, which is why I'm giving this overview. Okay. Now, the next point is we go back to, okay, I'm having difficulty with my, okay. So, ito yung sunod na tanong natin. Does Zagzebski's solution really work? Okay? So, so babalikan natin to kasi ito yung pinagawa ko sa inyo. Isa sa mga pinagagawa ko sa inyo, tignan nyo kung ano yung kaya nyong gawin na paglalapat nung general point ni Zagzebski dun sa particular na Gettier case na pinili nyo. Yun yung tinatanong ko eh. So, titignan natin yung sa ngayon yung tatlo. Yung unang tatlo dito, yung original fake barn case, which I'm very fond of. I like that case because it's very clear and it crystallizes what Gettier cases are all about. So it comes from Alvin Goldman, the original fake barn case featuring Henry. Henry yung pangalan ng knower doon. Tapos may variation. There are many variations of the original fake barn case, but one variation involves two people, two knowers, Sarah and her son. This is an example that comes from Turi. The third example I'm going to talk about is the case of Dr. Jones, who has a patient who appears to be suffering from virus X. But there are many complications, as you know. Yung huling case, yung Detective Brenda case, yung Dr. Jones kasi matatagpuan niya ang halimbawa na yan sa What is Knowledge ni Linda Zagzebski. Kaya nga hint yun eh, lalo na para sa mga pumili ng Dr. Jones case. Kasi makikita mo na talagang dapat umuubra yung solution ni Zygzewski sa sarili niyang halimbawa. Kasi halimbawa niya yung Dr. Jones case na yan. Ngayon, itong Detective Brenda case, nanggagaling yan sa estudyante ni Zygzewski na nagngangalang Jason Bayer. We are not reading Bayer in our course, but the Detective Brenda case, which is developed by Jason Bayer, which is developed by Bayer precisely to challenge Zygzewski's solution, that particular example is retold by Batali in her article, Virtue Epistemology. So, ipagpapaliban muna natin yan, pagtatalakay ng Detective Brenda case ng tuwiran kasi hindi nyo pa nababasa yung, or hindi pa nasa schedule natin yung pagbabasa ng Batali reading or at least uunahin natin yung Zygzewski What is Knowledge bago yun, tayo pumunta doon. So, kailangan natin makita kung totoo ba na matino itong solution ni Zagzebski. Na pag inilapat mo yung solusyon na yon dun sa mga particular na halimbawa, nawawala yung problema. Kailangan natin makita kung ano itsura nun. Okay? Right. Okay, so let's go back to the general features of Zagzebski's solution. Right? So, okay, I made the mistake about annotating a slide. Okay, anyway, so here is Zagzebski's solution. So, knowledge is true belief plus X plus luck. Yan yung formula. Okay? And for her, X must be something that has a strong and reliable connection with the acquisition of truth. Right? So, we want something that reliably connects us to the world. We need a capacity and the characteristic of a knower that allows that knower to know reality. Okay? Yun yung mga pangangailangan natin sa X. Reliable connection. Strong and reliable connection. Hindi necessary connection. Okay? So ito yung sunod na punto. X did not be something that necessarily grants the acquisition of truth. Okay? So, itong huling puntong ito, mahalaga ito para sa itong quote na the connection between justification and truth must exist in each and every particular case of knowledge. That must be present in all cases. More specifically, especially in all Gettier cases, so we can use the solution and make the problems go away. Okay? So, alam naman nyo na ang sagot ni Zygzewski dito ay, okay, ang sagot ni Zygzewski dito, ang X para sa kanya ay ability or intellectual virtue. Okay? So, ngayon, kailangan nating daanan ng konti yung mismong konsepto ng virtue o kagalingan. Alam ko halos lahat sa inyo nakapag-ethics 1 na. Narinig nyo na itong salitang virtue, yung katagang virtue mula sa Latin, virtus. So yung salitang Ingles na virtue ninakaw yun sa Latin, it was directly lifted, so eksaktong-eksakto. Ang kaso nito, lalo na sa mga pilosopikong usapan, yung Latin na virtus ay nanggagaling sa Griegong salita na ibang-iba. Yung salitang Griego ay arete. At yung arete ay mas matinong isalin bilang excellence sa Ingles at kagalingan sa Filipino. So, pwede natin isalin yung salitang virtue sa kagalingan. So, ito ay, so intellectual virtue, ito ay uri ng kagalingan sa larangan ng pag-alam at pag-unawa. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan sa etika, kagalingan na may kinalaman sa paggawa ng mabuti, tatamon ng eudaimonia, etc. Hindi ko na dadaanan yung lahat. Pero dito, naghanap tayo ng mga kagalingan, katangian ng isang nilalang, katangian ng tao na umaalam, hindi lang tao, minsan hayop din, na may kagalingang makaalam kung ano yung nangyayari sa paligid niya, kung ano yung nangyayari sa mundo. So, virtues are properties of persons. More specifically, Virtues are dispositional properties. So, ibig sabihin, wala tayong makikita na, halimbawa, naglalakad ka dyan sa labas, wala kang makakasalubong na kagalingan. Kasi yung kagalingan, ah, hindi yun nag-exist in itself. Palagi siyang nakakabit yun yung ibig sabihin ng property eh. So, it attaches to something or someone. You will not encounter excellence itself, right? Out there in the world, excellence attaches to persons or other beings, right? So, so katangian siya. So, ang kagalingan ay katangian. Pangalawa, so this is the metaphysics of virtue if you like, virtue is a specific kind of property kasi may alam tayong ibang katangian kagaya ng kulay, ano pa ba, hugis, bigat, mga katangian din yun, hindi yun nahahanap na parang wala kang makakasalubong dyan na bigat sa kalye. Pero, ibang klaseng katangian ang kagalingan. So, virtue is a distinct kind of property. More specifically, it's a dispositional property. Ano ibig sabihin ng dispositional property? A dispositional property is a property that only becomes manifest when certain external conditions are met. So that means if you just look at the person or if you just look at the object, the property is not visible if it's not called out by something in the environment. So yung standard example, mas madali para sa inyo na maintindihan siguro, pag bumalik tayo dun sa etika ng kagalingan, pag may isang taong matapang, pag tingnan mo lang siya, nakatayo lang siya dyan, di mo alam kung matapang siya o hindi. Kasi yung katapangan na yun, kung totoong katangian niya yun, lumalabas lang pag may nangyari na kailangan ng matapang na tugon. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng dispositional property. The property only comes out when there is something outside the agent that requires the relevant response. Right? So, hindi ko nadadaanan yung dalawang punto dito. So, ito yung pangunang pagpapaliwanag ng intellectual virtue. Kasi kahit na sa Batali reading pa yung pag-unawa ng mismong konsepto ng intellectual virtue, palaging binabanggit na ni Zagzebski yan kasi yung kanyang new definition of knowledge, right? I don't know if you read it already, but her definition of knowledge is that knowledge is cognitive contact with reality arising out of acts of intellectual virtue. That's the definition. It takes a lot of work to understand what's going on in there. And we have separate resources for that. So I'll not repeat things that were already explained in the other resources. But let's look at the Gettier cases again. Does Zagzebski's solution really work now that we have what I hope is a developing understanding of what intellectual virtue is, right? So, original fake barn case, right? So Henry is driving in fake barn country. For whatever reason, the inhabitants of that region decided to put up barn facades to give the impression that they are wealthy, that this is a wealthy part of the world or the country, whatever. Okay? So, si Henry yung pangalan ng knower dito. So, Henry's belief is true. Kasi di ba yung halimbawa na to, pwede mo sabihin, nagmamaneho siya na malapit sa kalye o bumaba. Kahit sabihin mo pang bumaba siya, nandun siya sa harap nung mukhang building. Right? So dito, Henry's belief is true. Okay? So Henry's belief, kasi yung belief ni Henry dito, that is a barn. But it is not true largely or only because of his exercise of a virtue. Ang kagalingan na nasasangkot dito sa halimbawang ito ay tinatawag na visual acuity. Isasali yan sa Filipino yung visual acuity, ang ibig sabihin niyan talas ng mata. Okay? Kasi hindi naman ibig sabihin na may mata ka, nakadilat ka, matalas mo nang gamitin yon. Iba pa rin yung matalas tumingin. Kaya nga 'di ba sa Pilipinas may alamat ng pinya. Tsaka lahat tayo napapagalitan ng mga nanay natin kasi sinasabihan tayo na maghanap ka ng gamit ang iyong mata, hindi gamit ang iyong bibig. Magandang punto yon na may kinalaman sa intellectual virtue. Kasi ibig sabihin, kailangan mong gamitin kung ano yung kakayahan na meron ka para maging kagalingan iyon. Hindi ibig sabihin na may mata ka, na matino naman, na gumagana naman, at maliwanag naman, matalas na agad ang mata mo. Kasi yung matalas na mata, kailangan yun ng effort. Okay? At saka parang continuous exercise kasi ganun yung kagalingan kailangan ginagamit. So dito, kasi sa puntong ito, Henry's belief is true, but the truth of his belief is not based on his exercise of visual acuity. Right? So yung justification ni Henry para sa kanyang paniniwala ay yung kanyang pagtingin. O sabihin na natin matala siyang tumingin pagkaharap niya ang isang bagay. Kaso hindi niya alam na hindi sumasapat yung uri ng dahilan, yung uri ng pagtingin na yon sa pagkakataong ito kasi nga hindi niya alam na nasa fake barn country siya. So, Henry's justification is because of his use of visual acuity. But his use of visual acuity is not sufficient justification for this case to make him justified because we know from the givens in the example that he just got lucky. He just happened to be uh, sheer good luck. He's standing in front of one of the very few real barns in that area. So, ang dahilan ng kanyang justification ay, ang dahilan kung bakit totoo na barn iyon ay walang kinalaman sa kanyang talas ng mata. May kinalaman sa kanyang pagiging maswerte. Okay? So, Suggested solution works here because she's able to tell us that here, Henry's justification is based on his exercise of visual acuity, but that's not the decisive thing that makes him right. So yung justification niya, parang nakalutang sa hangin. Walang kinalaman dun sa mga bagay na hindi niya alam. So ang nangyayari dyan, he is not right because of his exercise of intellectual virtue. He is not right. He is not just, he is not having, he's not accepting or arriving at a true belief because of his exercise of visual acuity, but because he got lucky. Okay, so so ang titignan kasi doon, papatignan sa atin is accept sa kanyang solusyon. Ano ba ang decisive dyan? Kung bakit nakarating siya doon sa true belief? Yun bang exercise of intellectual virtue o yun bang luck? Pag nakita natin na yung luck ang mas decisive at medyo sablay yung kanyang exercise of intellectual virtue for various reasons, we can explain why he does not have knowledge. And therefore, the Gettier case is not a problem for us. Okay? So that's a solution for this particular case. Sarah and her son. Okay? So in this case, the relevant intellectual virtue is not exactly the same. Okay? Bakit? Dahil merong dagdag. Kasi lahat ng kailangan o lahat ng ginagawa ni Henry, gagawin din ni Sarah. So kay Sarah, sa halimbawang ito, kailangan niya rin ng visual acuity. Kailangan niya rin ng talas ng mata. Pero dahil nagtatanong sa kanya yung anak niya, tapos may parang social science o history homework pa yata yung anak niya. Tapos, may ibang nasasangkot. So Sarah's belief about the barn is so ito yung sinasabi ko. Sarah's belief about the barn is almost exactly like Henry's, precisely because it involves visual acuity, but there is another intellectual virtue involved. And this intellectual virtue is more complicated. Hindi na ito yung parang o ginagamit mo kung ano yung senses mo na meron ka ng maayos. Meron na tong mas makapal o mas komplikado motivational structure. Kasi yung additional intellectual virtue para kay Sarah ay yung pagiging mabuting teacher o magiging magaling magturo sa anak niya. Kasi actually, yung mga magulang parang ano rin yan nagtuturo sa mga anak nila. Dito nga, nagtatanong yung anak niya tungkol doon sa kung ano yung nakikita nila. Okay? So, actually, Sarah has an additional responsibility to investigate further because in this particular case, it's not just visual acuity that is involved. Dahil nga may mga tanong yung anak niya, tapos meron siyang dagdag na kadahilanan kung bakit ah, kailangan niyang mas mag-ingat kasi nga kailangan maging tama yung tinuturo niya sa anak niya. Okay? So, dito kay Sarah, makikita natin na actually mali siya sa so tama pag sinabi niya sa anak niya that is a barn. um, Tama yun. Pero hindi maayos yung nangyayaring pagtuturo kasi una na naman, hindi niya alam na nasa film set pala sila. Film set itong ano na to variation ng isang example na to. Pangalawa, pagka kasi ang usapan, nagtuturo ka at meron kang dagdag na responsibilidad na maging maingat, may dagdag, arguably, Sarah has an additional responsibility to investigate further that Henry does not have because Henry is not even connected to teaching or imparting knowledge. Walang elementong ganun dun sa Henry example. But here in this case, Zagzebski solution also works because the solution is able to tell us that Sarah's belief that is a barn is almost exactly like Henry's. Not She did not arrive at that truth because of her exercise of intellectual virtue, because her exercise of intellectual virtue um, is only based on visual acuity, and she does not know that she must be more careful in looking because of the area that she's in. But also, arguably, Sarah is really wrong because of the additional complication of the teaching or imparting knowledge, and she arguably did not satisfy that requirement to her best ability. Etong si Sarah ay may motivation para ihinto yung kotse, bumaba sila ng anak niya, at talagang imbestigahan nila kung yung bar na yon. Kasi nga, merong mga dagdag na kahingian, yung pagtatanong ng anak niya, at saka yung responsibilidad na magturo ng maayos at magsabi ng totoo. Okay. Dr. Jones' case, okay, which is coming from Zagzebski's What is Knowledge. So if you are listening to this recording, you can get your copy of the text or open the file. The Dr. Jones example is on page 102, and it starts at the top of that page. Okay, so let's read that example. It says, suppose that Dr. Jones, a physician, has very good inductive evidence that her patient Smith is suffering from virus X. Smith exhibits all of the symptoms of this virus, and laboratory tests are consistent with the presence of virus X and no other known virus. Let's also suppose that all the evidence upon which Jones bases her diagnosis is true, and there is no evidence accessible to her that counts against the diagnosis. The conclusion that Smith is suffering from virus X really is extremely probable on the evidence. But even the strongest inductive evidence does not entail the conclusion, and so it is possible to make a mistake. Let us suppose that this is one of those cases. Smith is suffering from a distinct and unknown virus Y. Dr. Jones's belief that Smith is presently suffering from virus X is false, but it is justified and undefeated by any evidence available to her. Okay? Tapos sa susunod na paragraph, merong pagdadagdag. Let us say that besides suffering from virus Y, Smith has very recently contracted virus X. So ito yung stroke of good luck. But so recently that he does not yet exhibit symptoms caused by X, nor is the laboratory evidence upon which Jones bases her diagnosis produced by X. So while the evidence upon which Dr. Jones bases her diagnosis does make it highly probable that Smith has X, the fact that Smith has X has nothing to do with the evidence. In this case, Dr. Jones's belief that Smith has virus X is true, justified, and undefeated, but it is not knowledge. Okay? So, get your case yon. Ngayon, ano ang masasabi ng solusyon ni Zagzebski dito? Ang masasabi ng solusyon ni Zagzebski dito, Dr. Jones being right about the patient Smith being infected. So, patient Smith is infected by virus X. Ang ebidensya na hawak ni Dr. Jones ay nagpapakita na si Smith ay may virus X. Pero hindi alam ni Jones na yung lahat ng mga resulta ng lab test ay batay sa virus Y na iba sa virus X at wala pa nakakaalam nun, wala pa nakakatuklas nun. Kaya, ganun. Tapos, dugdug pa, malas itong si Smith, habang, o pagkatapos siguro siyang kuhanan ng dugo at kung ano pang mga kinuha sa kanya para sa mga lab test, at habang ginagamot siya ni Dr. Jones, nagkaroon siya ng isa pang virus X. Okay? So here, you can also say something similar. Here, the relevant intellectual virtue is intellectual conscientiousness and being excellent at medical diagnosis. Okay, so intellectual virtue rin yan ng mga doktor kasi yung mga doktor kailangan lang tukuyin kung anong sakit ng mga kanilang pasyente at sa batay sa pagtukoy na iyon, gamutin. Okay, so yun yung procedure or sequence sa medisina. Dito, Dr. Jones's belief is true, but it is not her exercise of the intellectual virtues such as good diagnosis and intellectual conscientiousness that makes her arrive at a true belief. Okay, there's something misleading about this statement that I'm reading about it. So I'm going to change that a bit. Okay, hang on. Hang on. Okay. So I changed the wording of the last bullet point under the Dr. Jones case. So I'm going to read this and I'm going to explain it. So Dr. Jones's belief is true. Smith is infected with virus X. But it is not the exercise of intellectual virtues such as good diagnosis and intellectual conscientiousness that decisively help her arrive at this true belief. Okay? Kasi ang nagdulot ng kanyang tamang paniniwala ay yung mga resulta ng lab test. Pero yung mga lab test ay idinulot nung virus Y. Kaso hindi nila alam na kung ano yung virus Y at saka na may ganun. Kaya nga, yung kanyang pagiging tama ay tsamba pa rin. Hindi pa rin dahil sa intellectual excellence or exercise of intellectual excellence or exercise of intellectual virtue. Okay. So I encourage you to ask questions about this particular point as we move forward. But for now, I am going to go to this case, Sarah's case again, kasi hindi ko pa ito binabalik. So, itong case ni Sarah ay interesante kasi ito ay nagsasangkot ng dalawang uri ng intellectual virtue. So, these are the main types of intellectual virtue. One is called reliabilist. So it involves basic knowing capacities. So dito sa reliabilist intellectual virtue, ang ibig sabihin nito, kagaya ng pinapaliwanag ko kanina na talas ng mata, ibig sabihin, meron kang kakayahang makita, tapos ginagamit mo yon ng paulit-ulit para masabi na matalas kang tumingin, maayos mong gamitin ang iyong mga mata, etc. So, it's more basic and it's thinner. Mas manipis kasi walang emotion, usually, and walang complex motivation. Okay? Yung responsibilist intellectual virtue, ito ay nagsasangkot ng cognitive capacities, kakayahang umalam, kakayahang tumingin kung ano mangyayari sa mundo na hindi lang basic eyesight, pero may reasoning, merong minsan calculation, at saka minsan may complex processing of data from the senses. Okay? So it involves cognitive capacities the only people who decide to shape their mind in a certain way would possess. So, itong responsibilist, so reliabilist virtues include excellent eyesight, excellent use of eyesight, visual acuity, excellent use of hearing, etc. Yung responsibilist, ito ay mas komplikado at mas makapal, ibig sabihin, mas marami yung nasasangkot sa mismong pagkatao nung umaalam. So, more dimensions of the person or the being, more dimensions of the being of the knower is involved. So it usually involves a bundle of motivations, it involves emotions, it involves a set of beliefs as to how to proceed. So examples of responsibilist intellectual virtues include intellectual courage, open-mindedness, intellectual conscientiousness, etc. Okay? So, Sarah has an additional reason to investigate further that Henry does not have. So, naipaliwanag ko na yan kanina. Kahit na hindi alam ni Sarah na siya ay nagmamaneho doon sa bahagi ng lugar na yon na film set pala, meron siyang hiwalay na dahilan na mag-imbestiga. Kasi may kaakibat o may kasamang tungkulin na mag-imbestiga ng mas maayos at masusi dahil nga yung tanong ng anak niya ay may kinalaman sa pagtubo ng pag-unawa. So, she has an additional responsibility to investigate. So, arguably, Sarah should not have answered her son's question without them, both of them, and especially her, doing further and more detailed investigation. So, hindi ibig sabihin, this case, so ito yung last point ko, and I'll probably end the recording with this. This case does not demonstrate this responsibilist intellectual virtues would automatically solve all Gettier cases. Kasi baka yun yung naiisip nyo na, okay, pag meron pala tayong, mga halimbawa, kagaya nung original fake barn case, dagdagan lang natin na hindi lang talas na mata yung kailangan gamitin, kailangan pa niyang gumamit ng responsibilist intellectual virtue. At pag ginamit natin yung responsibilist intellectual virtue like intellectual conscientiousness, intellectual courage, open-mindedness, mawawala yung Gettier cases. That's not true. And that is, and this point, is very well illustrated by the Detective Brenda case because the Detective Brenda case is specifically designed, one, to involve responsibilist intellectual virtue, two, to still show us that are still Gettier cases like this. Okay? So, yun yung challenge. Huwag yung isipin na, okay, ang solusyon ng lahat ay responsibilist intellectual virtue. Hulugan mo ng responsibilist intellectual virtue ang lahat ng Gettier case, mawawala ang problema. That's not how it works. Okay? And again, if this point is not very clear to you, I encourage you to formulate and ask questions. But for now, I shall end here.